The sound of Cornwall. Anouska Williams.
BBC Radio Cornwall.
Nerd's the word. We're going to be nerding out about children's literature. I have the most wonderful man coming in who's written a children's book, and I'm going to be asking him why he did that, what inspires him to write, and also get him to have a go at answering what the song in the vault is. Let's see if he gets it as well. We have a wonderful author about to join me in the studio for our Nerds the Word. We're going to be nerding out, finding out about his love for children's books. And he's actually written one, which is very exciting. So I thought, basically, because we've got Alasdair Hoswell coming in, I thought let's kind of tenuously link this to the vault. So I have locked away in the vault song with one word as its title. Right, so that's what we've done. It is time for Nerds the Word, and I'm joined by the fabulous Alasdair Hoswell, live in our studio. Shall I call you Ali? Do you prefer Alasdair? What do you prefer?
I don't mind, but you can call me Ali if you like.
I thought you were going to say you can call me John. It's absolutely fine.
Ali's fine. Ali's cool.
Yeah. Now, Ali, I'm excited because I have met you before, and you come in many guises. You do so much. You make me feel like a complete failure. I mean, literally, you are an author. Just the list of... Tell us what you do.
I love to keep busy, Anouska. So I love keeping busy. So I'm author, illustrator, teacher, singer, children's entertainer, storyteller.
So many talents.
A few things.
Yeah, and I mean, you have written this book, which we'll talk about in more detail a little bit later on. It's called Cornwall, the Land You Can Count On. And it's one of these things where many people probably think about writing a book. But actually, what made you think, actually, I'm going to do this? I'm going to write this book. What was that kind of, that moment?
I think for me, it was being inspired very much around Cornwall. So Cornwall inspires me all the time. And I think if you've got ideas in your head and you've got ideas in your heart and you want to go for it, just go for it and think, you know what, it's not impossible. If you want to make a book, if you want to do something, you can go out there and do it. And so Cornwall for me was a huge inspiration. Working with the children was a huge inspiration. The stories that they would come out with in the classroom was brilliant. That would inspire me quite a lot to do lots of my writing as well.
Yeah, because kids, now I'm a mum of two, Ali, they are a tough audience. You know,
definitely.
I mean, they are the first to tell you when something's rubbish as well, aren't they? You go, I've got this great idea. They'll be like, no.
Oh, definitely. They'll tell you. I've had that before in the classroom where we've read lots of stories. I've made up some of my own little books for them before, and they're like, oh no, boring. We don't. It's like okay. It's like okay, they don't like that one. Then we'll go with something else.
I mean, did you always have a passion for writing?
Yes, definitely. And I love writing. I love drawing. For me, drawing and doodling little characters kind of comes first, and then I write about them, if that makes sense. So kind of the other way round. Lots of people will write and then perhaps they seek an illustrator or somebody to do their pictures for them, whereas for me, I will draw and doodle and sketch and then create little stories and characters from that, really. But
I mean, these are more than doodles, Ali, I have to say, because I actually said who did the illustrations to Ali when he walked out. I said, who did the illustrations? He went, I did. And these are next level. I mean, this is the way you've captured stone, the detail on stone, on the sort of the mines and things. And, what you've done here is incredible.
Oh, thank you so much. That's very kind.
How long because there might be somebody out there thinking, I'd really like to write a book. Mm-hmm. I don't think you could ever put a time on it because it's always a personal thing. But how long did it take you for the entire process? Writing obviously the story and doing the illustrations. Yeah,
it's definitely a personal process. It took me 4 years to make this book, but I had a lot of other things going on at the same time. I was working full time as a teacher back then, and just life in general, just everyday life. But I would say if you can just dedicate a little bit of time each day to it, even if it's just 10 minutes or just something to it, you will eventually get to your goal of completing the book, and just go for it. If there's lots of people hopefully out there thinking, I would like to make a book, or I have ideas for a book, just do it. Go for it. Absolutely go for it.
I mean, have you ever had writer's block, Ali? Have you ever been sat there and just thought, today is not a day for writing?
Absolutely. Yep, I've had that before, where you sit there and just nothing comes, and nothing can come out of the pen or paintbrush, and you think, oh no, what's happening? When I get those days, I go for a walk, or I listen to some music, or listen to the nature and birds singing, and that usually helps to kind of awaken some inspiration.
Yeah, and you're back on it. It's just wonderful. We'll talk more in a minute. Just almost had a bit of a disaster there with my headphones caught up on my pad. That was not very good. But I'm not alone. We are in the midst of Nerds the Word. I'm joined by Alasdair Hoswell. We're going to call you Ali.
Yeah,
we are going to call you Ali. And Ali has written this book. We were just chatting during that song about this book. It's called Cornwall, The Land You Can Count On. Can you just tell us in a nutshell what it's about?
So basically it's a book, it's a love letter to Cornwall, and it's a counting book from 0 to 10. So you can count to 0 to 10, but not just in English, you can count in Cornish as well. So it's a dual language book, and it's just a chance to discover the magical aspects of Cornwall, really, the parts that I love and hopefully other people will love as well. And if you don't know Cornwall, it's a chance to learn about Cornwall and discover it.
Yeah, because I mean, so many people obviously holiday down here in the southwest, and it's something I think could appeal to so many different people. What's the reaction been like?
Oh, it's been incredible. It's been incredibly overwhelming, really, because I posted up a photo on social media of just me holding the book.
Can I just say as well, Ali never ever takes a bad picture. I just have to throw that in. So it doesn't surprise me it got a big reaction. But anyway, carry on.
Oh, I have a good photographer.
Oh, yeah.
James Gitter.
I love that name check.
Basically, I put the picture up on Facebook, on social media, of me on the beach holding the book, and it was just the most incredible reaction. Everybody was so kind. They said, oh, that looks amazing, it looks interesting, what's it about? And I kind of teased everybody a little bit for a while. I wasn't telling anybody what the book was kind of about. I would say to people online, oh, I'm making a new book, it's going to have, Cornwall was kind of the focus and counting, but I didn't really tell anybody anything else. So it's kind of been a bit of a surprise for people, hopefully, and I hope people like it. I really do.
Yeah, and out in time for Christmas. Yeah. That was very clever. I like what you did there.
That was just me being slow. Because,
was it?
Because basically...
That was strategy. Strategy.
I should say it was, but it wasn't. Basically, I wanted it out in June, but I kept changing it all the time. I kept changing the paintings because I had these illustrations. And I thought, I'm not happy with how I'm creating that. I want to change it, and it didn't have enough movement on some of the pages, and I was a bit of a perfectionist, so that's my fault why it's late. But it's out now, so
But you know what? I think that you can't put a time on perfection, Ali, you can't. And I just think, I really hope it does well. It looks wonderful. And
Thank you.
Who have been your inspirations in terms of authors? Who have you looked at as children's authors and thought they do it really well?
Oh yeah, I've got lots of children's authors. I love Roger Hargreaves. He created all the Mr. Men books.
Yes.
And I grew up with all of the Mr. Men books, and for me, he is such an inspiration. Those characters, they're just so iconic.
Yeah.
So I love those, and I love them now, even as an adult. And I actually used to read those to my children in the classroom, and they loved them too. So they're timeless.
Yeah, I think this is the thing, isn't it? If you can come up with a concept that not just appeals to the child but the grown-up as well, because when you're reading a bedtime story, I mean, I was very unfortunate with, listen, if my son's listening, I do apologise, but I was quite unfortunate with him because he wasn't really into storybooks. My daughter really is. She really loves all of that. So we had Julia Donaldson.
Oh, yeah.
The Paper Dolls is one of my favourite.
I love that book.
It's so emotional, isn't it? It's literally like, Ticky and Tacky and Jackie the Backy. Love it. But my son would never really engage with a book unless I was really invested in it.
Okay, yeah.
So I think, the fact that you've created a book here which people can sit down together.
Yeah.
Because it's quite a thing to do together, reading, isn't it? It's a lovely way of bonding with children.
Definitely. It's special because it unlocks imagination, creativity. It's that quality time with your loved ones. It's reading and just enjoying stories, I think, is one of the most magical things in the world.
It is indeed. And so Cornwall, The Land You Can Count On. How can people get their hands on this, Ali?
So people can get their hands on this through my website, which is www.alasdairhoswell.com, and that's Alasdair with a D.
Yes.
And you can also get in touch via my Facebook page if you want to as well. And hopefully it will be in a few shops soon, but it definitely will be in Lindy Lou's shop in Porthleven. She's got a gorgeous gift shop, so it's going to be in there.
Perfect.
It's out on the 18th, so the 18th of November.
So okay, so not long?
Yeah, not
long
long
now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just so excited for you. And now, to another matter, because we launched the vault at the top of this, and because you've come in, we thought tenuously we had to have a song that had something to do with books.
Okay.
Because I thought about, doing songs with the word paper in the title, but there weren't that many, so I thought, well, that's not going to work. Anyway, so came up with the idea of songs with one-word titles. Okay, so do you have a guess for me? What do you think it is?
And does it have to be related to books, or is it anything?
No, so it's literally, the title just needs to be one word.
Oh, okay.
So somebody came up with, for example, what did we have? We had Imagine by John Lennon.
Lovely,
so that kind of thing.
Okay. Because I'm a huge fan, let's go with Toxic, Britney Spears.
Is it a bit of Britney? Should we have a look? Toxic, is that the right answer? Sadly not, Ali, but it is a good... I love that as well. Have you read the book yet? Have you read her book?
I have, actually. Yes, I have. I'm reading her book at the moment, and it is incredible. Absolutely
What do you
wonderful.
think? Is it full of, like, absolute sort of
really
clangers?
Full of all kinds of different truths for Britney, and I think I really respect how much she's, her truth and what she's saying. So yeah, brilliant book. Definitely recommend that one.
Oh, I need to get that. Listen, if you've got an idea, if you know what you think you know what the song is that we've locked away in the vault, do get in touch.
Text 81333, starting your message with Cornwall.
Texts are charged at your standard message rate.
BBC Radio Cornwall.
Ali, can I just say thank you so much for coming in?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely loved it, and I wish you all the luck in the world with your new book.
Oh, thank you so much.
You take care. Just had our nerd in. I don't like to use that word, but it's called Nerd's the Word, this feature. And we get somebody in that's really passionate about something. We've just had Alasdair Hoswell talking about his book. He's a children's author. So I thought, let's lock away a song that has something to do with books, writing. So I thought, how about I'm going to lock away a song with one word in its title.
The sound of Cornwall. Anouska Williams.